Esther, we're getting a divorce.
What?
You went back to your mom and dad's place after getting discharged from the hospital. They have ramps and all that crap, so it's wheelchair friendly, right? There's no sense you coming back to me. I just terminated the contract on the apartment, so it ain't like there's anywhere for you to come back to anyway.
Barry, what the hell? Just slow down a minute. The only reason I came back to live with my folks is because our apartment isn't wheelchair friendly. It was only supposed to be a temporary arrangement. Wasn't the plan to find a new wheelchair friendly place to move in together?
Maybe it was at one point, but you know what? That sounds like a real pain in the ass.
What?
Listen, babe, I'm real grateful for you jumping in to save me like that. I would have been in major trouble if not for you. Who knows, I could have even died. It sucks that you ended up in a wheelchair after falling down the stairs. But you know what, Sugar Dumpling? That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Thing is, Sweetie Pie, all this time alone, I've been doing some thinking. The fact that your mom and dad's place is wheelchair friendly must mean you had some close friend or relative in a wheelchair living there before.
Yes, my grandma. Apparently they had some improvements made on the house to make her life there as smooth and stress-free as possible.
Basically, your family home, where they have experience looking after cripples, is a far more suitable care environment than anything I could possibly provide. Think about it. You know I'm right.
Oh my god.
As soon as I realized that, it dawned on me just how pointless our relationship is. You're dead weight, and divorce is the only answer.
How could you do this? You make it sound like you don't even care about me. I'm in a difficult enough place mentally as it is, Barry. I'm in a wheelchair for crying out loud. Did you really have to do this now of all times? Oh my god, my world is falling apart.
Oh yeah, that too!
Huh?
Ever since you got put in a wheelchair, you've been giving off this miserable, depressing aura. Like you're constantly begging for sympathy. And I gotta tell you, babe, it's been hard on me.
What the? How could you say this?
In any case, I ain't got no interest in continuing married life with a depressing, crippled loser like you. That's why we're getting a divorce. I'll mail the divorce papers to your folks' place. Make sure you get them signed and handed in ASAP. Your folks are gonna have to push you there, obviously. See ya!
3 years later.
Hey, Esther, it's been a while.
Huh? Is that Barry?
Can you believe it's been a whole 3 years? Time sure flies when you're having fun, huh?
What do you want?
I'm messaging you because there's something I wanted to tell you.
What?
I'm getting remarried!
That's great. Congratulations.
Haha, thanks, babe.
Was that all you wanted to tell me?
Huh?
Surely it would be kind of weird if the only reason you wanted to message your ex-wife after 3 years was to tell her you're getting remarried. Surely that wasn't the only thing? To be honest, I think I forgot to block you because I was dead certain you'd never message me again. After all, why would you? I didn't see this one coming. If that was all you wanted to tell me, let's leave it there. I'd appreciate it if you didn't contact me again.
Aha! I knew it! I knew messaging you was the right thing to do.
What? Why?
It's as plain as day. You still have feelings for me, don't you, babe?
Excuse me?
You know how when you tell a kid not to push a button, they always end up pushing it? It was reverse psychology. You thought by telling me not to contact you, I'd get in touch with you again someday, and you'd have another shot at the prize. Me. I can read you like a book.
I'd appreciate it if you stopped playing games and acting so strange. We're done. Barry, and that's final. Now please, stop messaging me. Just leave me alone. You're really annoying.
One more thing. My fiance is the daughter of the CEO of a major company. I take a huge sigh of relief every time I remember how I never would have found myself such a good woman if we didn't divorce. Whew, talking about dodging a bullet. Can you imagine? Me, forced to be permanent live-in carer to some whiny cripple for the rest of my life? I made the right decision.
Wow.
Aha! There it is! The jealousy rears its ugly head. Ha ha ha! I guess no one can blame you. I'm a rugged, fine specimen of a man who can have any woman he wants. And well, you're in a wheelchair.
Is this the real reason you messaged me?
Huh?
Did you just want to mock and ridicule me for being in a wheelchair? To gloat about how much better you think you are than me? About how much better you think your life is than mine?
I guess it can't be helped. It is the truth after all.
I'd appreciate it if you kept your malicious, spiteful judgments about what you think my life must be like to yourself.
Aw, is someone a little mad? Does baby want a dummy?
I suggest you be careful about what you say.
What? Is that a threat? I'm quaking in my boots here, honest.
It'd be an awful shame if you said the wrong thing and forced me to take revenge on you when you least expected it.
Whatever, you jealous loser. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I'll invite you to the wedding. It could be good for you. Think about it. If you see how blissfully happy me and my new wife are together with your own eyes, it might help you finally let go of your feelings for me.
Feelings for you? I honestly could not care less about you.
Great, that settles it then. I'll send the invite out to your folks' place.
I don't want one, and I'm not going. Truthfully, I'd rather stick pins in my eyes.
I know how stubborn you are, so I know you'll probably reply not attending, despite wanting to come more than anything. But I'm preparing some space for your wheelchair, so you better show up.
I said I'm not going. The day of the wedding.
Hey, Esther! I knew it! You were so adamant you weren't gonna come, but I knew it was all an act. You actually came, didn't you? Priceless! I saw a woman in a wheelchair making her way towards the wedding hall from the waiting room window. I knew it! Your feelings for me are unshakable, and you came in spite of your protest. You can't run from love, babe! Or roll in your case. Problem is, I filled the space I had ready for you, cause you sent the invite back saying you weren't attending. They don't even make movies this entertaining. Sorry, sweet cheeks, but I could hardly let you in without a confirmed invite. My hands were tied. I knew I did the right thing by warning my buddy on reception. I said, hey, Timmy, if some bimbo in a wheelchair shows up, you make sure you turn her away immediately. You got that, Mal? Why? Because she's my ex-wife. He messaged me just now saying he sent you packing the moment you showed up. He said the look in your face was priceless. Enjoy the journey home. I hope you brought someone to push you.
Barry, I'm sorry, but I'm completely lost. What are you talking about?
Crippled, go home! Go home, go home, go home! Crippled, go home! Go home, go home, go home! G-O-H-O-M-E!
But I never came in the first place?
Huh?
As you well know, I sent the invite back with the not attending box very clearly ticked. As I told you before, I had no intention of going, and I didn't. So what the hell are you talking about?
Huh? But in that case, who was the one I saw from the waiting room window?
Obviously, it wasn't me.
Wait, what? Seriously?
The next day.
How in the heck of the baby Lord Jesus' name was I supposed to know, you stinky bimbo?
Wow, where did that come from all of a sudden?
The woman in the wheelchair I kicked out of the wedding after mistaking her for you yesterday was actually my wife's childhood friend. My wife flipped out at me big time for giving her the boot. Apparently they were real close, like sisters. I've never seen her this mad. She's threatening to divorce me, you goddamn evil witch! This is all your fault for being in that godforsaken wheelchair! How dare you!
This is my fault? Amazing! You literally have zero ability to self-reflect, do you? So this must mean your wife's childhood friend was one of the invites she sent out. Which also means the necessary arrangements to accommodate a guest in a wheelchair would have been taken by the organizers of the ceremony. Surely there's no way the groom wouldn't have been made aware of something like this at his own wedding. Or maybe you were, and you just weren't listening. Which was it?
Well,
Or maybe you were listening, but you forgot?
Actually,
If by any chance were you leaving all of the wedding arrangements to your wife, you were taking on your fair share of the responsibility, weren't you, Barry?
well,
Let's face it, you always were the kind of guy to come up with nonsensical excuses every time you deemed something to be a pain in the ass. Even if the thing you were escaping from was very clearly something you should have been taking responsibility for. That's always the kind of guy you were, wasn't it, Barry?
the heck are you talking about? You make me sick, woman. Look at you. So what? So I made one teensy-weensy, teeny-weeny little mistake. I'm human, aren't I? Get off your high horse, you self-racist witch. This just proves you still have feelings for me. It gets more obvious with each message.
Keep dreaming.
Maybe try learning to walk again, cripple. Who knows? You might even be able to get remarried like me.
Huh? Oh, right. I see. You don't know anything about my situation these days, do you?
What else is there to know? You're a friendless, single, shut-in hermit cripple who lives with her elderly parents and relies on them 24/7 to care for her. I don't need to ask to know that.
I gave the rehab everything I had after the divorce and made huge improvements. Doctors tell me I'm well and truly on the road to recovery.
Huh?
They also tell me that if I carry on working hard, there's a good chance I'll be able to walk normally again one day, as if the accident never happened.
Wait, what? Seriously?
This isn't exactly new though, is it? They've been saying this since the beginning.
What? They have?
Looks like my suspicions were right. You divorced me without even properly listening to what the doctors had to say, didn't you?
I did? Oh man.
Oh, by the way, your new wife asked me to pass on this message.
Huh?
You're despicable. I want a divorce, now.
Wait, what? What? What the heck? How is she speaking to you?
She just showed up at my house because she wanted to ask me some questions.
Uh-oh.
She was pretty curious about the background behind her divorce, and of course, I, being super friendly and sociable, told her everything. She was absolutely furious about how you treated her childhood friend yesterday. She said she suddenly felt like she no longer knew you. She's on her way to you with the divorce papers now. Apparently, she never wants to see you again after you sign them. A few days later.
Sup, honey cheeks? I kept you waiting a long time, huh? You can finally remarry me now!
Excuse me?
Ah, don't worry. It won't count as cheating or infidelity or anything like that. I'm newly divorced now, so there's nothing stopping us. I'm single and ready to mingle.
There's nothing stopping us from doing what exactly?
I might be a two-time divorcee, but I'm pretty sure that technically goes back down to one with me and you getting remarried. What's more, now that I know you're not going to be a wheelchair anymore, it'll be just like before. You'll be a normal person again. However, there is just one small condition. My bitch ex-wife is demanding ungodly amounts of compensation and saying I owe her all the money she put into planning the wedding. The total comes to just shy of 40K. As long as you pay off that for me, you can have me back. Your family are filthy rich, so it shouldn't be a problem, right? Just give old Pops a call and this'll be settled in a jiffy. I'll be heading over to your folks' place tomorrow, so make sure you have the marriage registration stuff dealt with before I arrive, okay, sweet cheeks?
Would you mind slowing down for a sec? There's something you should know.
What is it?
I already got remarried.
Huh?
I fell in love with the physio who oversaw my rehab at the hospital. He's such an amazing man. He was there for me when I was at my lowest, when my head was all over the place after being so cruelly and heartlessly tossed aside, like some piece of trash when you realized I was in a wheelchair.
You married the physio? Oh, this is the first I've heard of it.
Is there a reason I need to give detailed reports on my private life to my ex-husband?
But I gave you reports on my private life.
I don't remember there being any kind of rule saying I have to do that.
Wait, does this mean you won't marry me? Ugh! It's gonna be a lot harder trying to find a new wife as a two-time divorcee, you know. Have you even thought about how this is gonna affect me?
I'm praying that one day you'll have an epiphany and realize that this was entirely your fault. But something tells me I'll be praying for a long time.
What?
It'd be a miracle if you found an oddball crazy enough to marry a cruel, selfish, heartless, mean-spirited, good-for-nothing loser like you.
What? That's just uncalled for!
Never contact me again. Goodbye. Later on, I found out the real reason my ex-husband went out of his way to tell me he was getting remarried was that, apparently, at the time of the divorce, his friends and family found out he was ending things because the thought of caring for his then-crippled wife was too much for a nuisance. Unable to cope with his newfound reputation as a total scumbag, he hatched a plan to heal his damaged reputation. The idea was to goad me into causing a scene at his wedding by provoking me into a jealous rage so he could paint me as some kind of deranged psycho whom he had no choice but to divorce. I really am tired of him. Talk about dodging a bullet. Amazingly, his parents were nothing like him, and me and them had always gotten along, so a few days later, I decided to tell them everything. They immediately hung their heads in shame and apologized profusely. His mom said, as if the shenanigans at the wedding weren't bad enough, "My goodness, Esther, we're so sorry." They vowed to keep a watchful eye on him to ensure he could never hurt anyone again. Last I heard, he was being forced to work to exhaustion to pay off his debts by his ex-military dad.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Laura, are you there? Guess what? I have a huge announcement to make.
Oh, it's you. What do you want?
What kind of way is that to greet an old friend, huh? We used to be so close. Why are you going to act like this when I've barely even said anything to you?
We may have been friends, but we are not friends now. Not to mention the fact that our kids don't even go to the same school anymore, so we don't have that as an excuse to talk. And moreover, that was probably the nicest way that I could have reacted to you, considering the fact that you stole my husband away from me. In fact, the only reason that I got your message was because I forgot to block your number. So thanks for reminding me, and goodbye.
Wait, no, hold on! The whole reason I messaged you is because I have a huge announcement for you. If you block me now, then you'll never know what it was.
And just what is this announcement of yours?
Well, first of all, enough time has passed since you and Copper broke up, so now him and I have officially been able to get married.
Okay then, is that all you wanted to tell me?
Of course not. I have one more thing. I'm pregnant with Cooper's baby.
You are going to be having Coop's kid.
I'm sure you're just so jealous, aren't you? We don't know whether it's going to be a boy or a girl yet, but I'm sure you must be furious now that I'm pregnant with the child of the man that you loved.
Right. So then, is that all that you had to say to me?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, were those the big announcements that you wanted to make?
Of course they were. And aren't they just the best news you've ever heard? To have the child of the man that you love, isn't that every woman's dream?
I don't really like to make a habit of speaking for all women, but if you really think that's good news, then I guess I have to say that I'm impressed by you.
More like jealous, you mean? I bet that you've been trying your hardest to forget all about your time with Cooper, and now I've gone and brought back all those painful memories, huh?
I actually have already forgotten all about him. Coop who? And anyways, with both of you out of my life, I've been able to concentrate on my career and I have tons of free time to pursue whatever I want. In fact, this conversation is actually interrupting something right now.
What do you mean? What is it interrupting?
That's my business. You have a nice life. I'm going to go now.
I get it. You're upset because now that you're a single mother, you're going to have to work all day around the clock, huh? You'll be poor and never have time for anything. And now that I've stolen Cooper from you, I'll be living a rich and easy life while you struggle for every little thing. Anyways, I may have more news for you in the future, so don't go blocking me yet. Laura, are you there? Man, who knew that being pregnant would be this difficult? I'm doing my best to keep all the pregnancy pounds off, but it isn't easy. At least the morning sickness seems to have quieted down for now. But a pregnant woman can never let her guard down, you know? Even Coop is working hard to make sure that we have enough money for when this little one arrives. He's at work from sunup and doesn't come home until late at night. All because he's working so hard for his new family. Oh man, my belly is huge now. I really hope that I don't get any stretch marks because of this. But I have to say that I'm just so happy with my life right now. Oh, right, that reminds me. I had a quick favor to ask you. Once I have this kid, I want you to stop talking to Coop's parents, okay? Oh, and one more big thing. We found out that we're going to be having a boy. You know what that means, right? It means that I'm going to give birth to an heir that's going to be able to take over Coop's business when he's ready. You only ever had some lousy daughter who was never going to be able to achieve anything by herself. But I guess this just proves that I was the right girl for Cooper all along, since I gave him a son on the first try. Laura, are you there? I just wanted to let you know that I gave birth to my son yesterday and there were 0 complications. He's the spitting image of his father, and I just know that he's going to grow up to be a great man like him too. But you know, I've never actually met Cooper's parents. In fact, they don't want to meet me because they don't think I'm the right girl for him. Can you believe that they would say something like that about me? After I gave them a male grandchild?
They're one of your life updates again, Donna.
You finally responded! I was wondering if I was talking to a wall or if you were really there reading my messages in silence. I guess you finally accepted the truth about the situation, huh? Was it finally having my son that made it all sink in?
I don't know what you want me to say to that. Congrats on the kid, I guess.
That's a start.
But are you sure you know who the father of that kid is?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I just don't think that the two of you are going to be cut out to raise that kid. It would probably just be better if you handed him over to his real dad to take care of him. Don't you think?
What are you talking about? This is our son. This is the child that Cooper and I had together.
So then you're telling me you guys had some kind of fertility treatment going on?
What are you talking about? There was nothing like that at all. This is a totally natural baby made the old-fashioned way.
So basically, it was a natural birth, is what you're saying. If that's the case, then I really don't think it's possible that that kid is actually Cooper's.
That doesn't make any sense. You're just jealous, and so you're just trying to get into my head. Well, it's not gonna work, you hear me? I know the facts, and that's all that matters. Missed call? Missed call? Laura, are you there? Please, you need to pick up the phone right now. You were the one who called my ex-husband, weren't you? He showed up at our house demanding a paternity test for Cooper and I's kid. He seems to think that it's his and not Cooper's.
I guess you still haven't figured it out yet then, huh?
Figured out what? What is going on here?
Well, the thing is that Cooper can't have kids. He's impotent.
He's what? Is that supposed to be some kind of joke?
No, it really is true. His body just can't produce enough sperm to get anyone pregnant.
That isn't a thing. You're lying to me.
It's true. Even our daughter. We adopted from an agency when she was only 4 years old.
Wait, is that true?
It is. Cooper refused to look into any kind of treatment for his condition, so it was the only way that we could have any kids together.
You're lying. You have to be lying right now.
Well, you came to me telling me that you were pregnant not that long after you ran off with Cooper. So if you were thinking about how long it takes to tell that you're pregnant, then that means there is a high chance that insemination occurred while you were still with your husband. In other words, it's quite likely that it is in fact your ex-husband's kid.
Are you kidding me? That can't be right.
Well, do you want to know what Cooper told me the day that he left me? He said that you had actually already had a kid, which proved that you were fertile. He seemed to think that you were his last chance to try and have a natural child. He refused to acknowledge that he was the problem and ran off with you instead.
That can't be right. Please, tell me that it isn't true.
It really is. If you doubt me, you can go and ask Cooper's parents. They know about this. If anything, that's probably why they want nothing to do with either of you now. Although, they can't just cut him off since Cooper is paying them back after they paid off his legal fees from our divorce.
I don't even know what to say. You horrible, horrible woman. This is all your fault. He took my son. He took my son and got custody of him. I thought that moms were always supposed to get custody. This isn't fair. You ruined everything. What am I supposed to do now, huh?
I take it that your ex-husband sued for the right to raise your son.
That's right. He took Coop and I's son away from us. How could he do that? Doesn't make any sense to me. Now he has custody over both my children, and I have nothing.
Well, you were the one who said that you were going to have Cooper's son and that you didn't need any other kid in your life.
But that's because Coop's son was going to take over his dad's company one day. I didn't any other kid if I had one to do that.
Don't tell me that you didn't know about that either.
What do you mean? What are you hiding from me?
Well, first of all, Coop, as you know, is not the president of the company. That position still belongs to his father. The next president was never going to be Coop because his father already chose me to succeed him.
Wait a second. So, you're going to take over Coop's family business?
That's right. And I think that Coop's dad is going to retire quite soon, actually.
But I thought that Coop would take over. Why would they give you that job?
It's a really long story, but I swear to you that I'm telling the truth.
I still want to know what happened. I deserve to know.
Well, if you want me to try and summarize it, basically, Coop's parents didn't want a man who only thinks with what is between his legs running a company. Not to mention how irresponsible he is with money.
So then what does Coop even do at work?
Well, before his affair with you came to light, he was still on track for a successful career here. But after everything came out, he basically was demoted by his father and given a huge pay cut. Now he's just like any other employee there.
So he's not even upper management or anything? But I really didn't know about this at all. What do you mean he's bad with money?
Well, you should know best of all. After all, he pretty much drove himself into debt trying to impress you with all the fancy things he bought for you.
What does that mean, though?
It means that he owes his parents about $30,000 in the form of personal loans. Well, his parents and other loan sharks.
Cooper is $30,000 in debt?
He is, and that's why I suggested to your ex-husband that he would be better suited to raise his son rather than you.
I don't believe it. How could you do this?
I just couldn't stand the thought of a poor child being raised by the likes of you and Cooper.
This is really bad. I basically burnt through my savings in the divorce with my ex-husband and thought that Cooper was going to be able to buy my way out of this trouble. But now I know he doesn't even have any money either. I thought I was going to be living in the lap of luxury. Things weren't supposed to happen this way.
Donna was sure that by having a son, she would have secured her place in Cooper's family by being the mother of their eventual heir to the company. But in the end, Donna's recklessness resulted in the child being taken away and raised by his real father. After that, Donna and Coop began to fight every single day. But without any help from family and with both of them still drowning in debt, they had no choice but to stay together and downgrade to living in a tiny apartment. And since neither of them were confident enough to make it on their own, they still haven't gotten a divorce. I hear that Donna found a job and ended up having an affair with her boss that resulted in her being sued by Coop. You would think she would have learned her lesson, but I guess some things just don't stick.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.